Welcome to the 12th Man podcast, opinionated debate on everything Borough. Let's have it.
Inside the box, Janino nearly there. Ravanelli, goal! Mark Schwartz's in. Get in! Get in, you big Aussie!
Well, Boston hasn't finished yet. Kick it!
And Borough have struck a stick to the heart of Dracula's boys, and it could be Eindhoven time!
Right, here we go. Welcome to the 12th Man podcast, live, uninterrupted, on the Red, on Facebook, and in your ears on Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, whatever other, platform that you listen to us. I'm Steve Jackson. I'm in the main chair as usual. Back in the studio this week. Got my main man alongside me. Evening, Cut.
Evening.
How are we doing?
Very well.
All the better for seeing you.
Thank you.
Rare appearance as always. Mr. James Dalgarner's with us, fresh from Wales.
Got to be a record season.
I know. What are you doing?
Appearance for a few years, hasn't it?
I know.
Yeah, good mate.
How's the voice?
Yeah, they're just about there. Just about coming back.
There. Good trip.
Yeah, really good trip. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, fantastic.
We'll talk through that in a little bit. And online, people on Facebook can see. But Mr. Steve Dixon with us. Evening, Dicko.
Evening, lads. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing good, mate. We're doing good. And
good, excellent.
Back by popular demand. He's not the only Yorkshireman that will be joining us. I'll explain a little bit in a little while. But our favourite entrepreneur, artist extraordinaire, Mr. Graham Bandera is with us. Evening, Bandy.
It is. You all right, lads?
Yeah, we're good, mate. We're good. How are you?
All good. Good to see you all again.
You can't see
As
me.
the season comes to an end.
I'll wave to you on Saturday. It's all right. No, it's good to have you on as always. Yeah, we'll give you stuff a little bit of a plug. Sure. I saw your latest picture today of the Navy. Looked good. So
that beat a pint in the Navy.
Exactly.
True.
To my second home.
It's a good place, the Navy. It looks weird when you see it because it's just like sat by itself, but everybody knows the Navy, so it's a cracking pub.
Tonight's 12th Man podcast sponsored by the Navy.
If I can get in touch with some freebies like that,
we'll have a few peas pudding sandwiches on Saturday, won't we?
3 pints at the bar. Happy days.
Well, aye. But yes, it's an extended podcast tonight. We're on for not for 60 minutes, we're on for 90 minutes tonight.
Something happening, like
you lucky people. So we're going to spend the first half reviewing that formidable performance in Wales, beating Cardiff very comfortably. And then we've got a special guest coming on in about 40 minutes time. Set your timers. Borough's captain, leader, legend, Mr. Jonny Howson will be with us in about 40 minutes. So stay tuned. Keep listening. Get your questions in as well. And we'll go from there. So right, here we go. So I'll start with you, Dally, because you were there. I bet you were up at the crack
in body.
Yeah. You definitely weren't there in spirit. But cracking trip. I say it was a long trip as well. Early start for you boys as well.
Yeah. I was in Stockton High Street. I was there for R5. Jump on the bus.
I bet you were still seeing people kicked out the Wobbly Goblin, weren't you?
yeah.
That's what happens with him. He came out the Wobbly Goblin straight on the bus.
No, really, really good trip. Landed in Cardiff about 12:15. Good little pub that we were in, the Albion, I think it was called, Penarth, and then onto the ground. Brilliant away day. You know, first half you could tell it was coming at the end of the season. When Matt Clark scored, it was a bit of I think half of the crowd were downstairs getting a pint or a Poverel, and then the second half we turned it on, played some really good stuff, and last scored a 1-on-1. So what was not to love?
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about a little bit. Latte laughing a little bit because I'm a bit nervous about the summer now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, but we'll go back to the team. Obviously, you were tripping back on the pub, on the bus after the pub.
Yeah.
So after your game of Where's Wally, team came out. Obviously, a couple of changes, couple of kids on the bench, which we expected, but team wasn't a bad one really. Obviously, Ayling came back in for Dyke Steele.
Nice to see Gilbert get a start.
Yes,
I think he has bided his time. I've been a little bit it was one of those where when he comes on, have I ever been that convinced? But give him a start, see what he was about, and I thought he took his chance really well. Like you say, Ayling back in the team. You saw his delight when he put the ball on a plate for Gilbert's goal, running off doing the old fjord off. But yeah, no, it was a good team.
The old fjord off, I love that. But Cuts, what do you make of the team?
Yeah, it was alright, yeah. I think we all wanted to see Gilbert giving a start, wanted us to finish the season strong, so not too many changes. I would have liked to see Matthews maybe get a little run out for at least start him, give him a game, but we'll maybe see that on Saturday. But I know we'll come with it later, but what a finish by Gilbert that was.
A few more words this week, then it was alright, that team,
yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Thought I'd contribute a little bit more.
I'm glad. Otherwise I kicked you out that door. No, that's good. Dicko, what do you make of the team?
Yeah, it was all right. Like John says, a couple of surprises for me. I've got to be honest. I was surprised to see Barlaser come back in for Craig Johns as man of the match, O'Brien, and I was surprised to see Thomas start again ahead of Bangura, who I thought might have come back into the side after an impressive cameo against Leeds, but I wasn't worried with the side that was out there because it had enough quality in it, I thought, to get a result.
Little slide dig there at Craig Johns. Well
just a little one.
I know you'll disagree with that, Bandy. You're a massive fan of O'Brien, but pretty solid team that, isn't it? And it's good to see obviously Gilbert getting a run out in the first team as well.
Yeah, I did. I mean, the last few times he's come on, he does actually look technically good. He played that beautiful ball over for Lat's goal against Leeds, and that's obviously given him a platform to get a start, I think, because it was a beautiful ball. Had a great game, fantastic goal, beautiful finish, top corner. So fingers crossed that he can get a good pre-season under his belt, and then we've got to give him a chance. We have to, because he might have something to prove. He's looked all right. But the team itself, I think at the moment you could pick any 11 and they'll perform, because the confidence is sky high. They've obviously had a bit of a chat with the manager, and it's key that we finish the season strongly, and hopefully we can start next season strongly and sort of kick off where we left off. But as I say, the team itself was all right, and took the game to Cardiff and absolutely tore them apart, to be fair. So, and it was nice to see four different scorers. Azar's back on the sheet again, Ayling with another assist, Clarkey's deserved his goal, and none more so than Gilbert, really. Brilliant. So yeah, buzzing.
Just in the starting 11, Jack, we're on about the starting 11. When you think about it logically, if we happened to tie down Ayling to another year, we potentially got 8 starters next season playing against Cardiff. You had Dieng, Clark, Vandenberg. If we're saying Ayling, tonight's guest Jonny Howson, Isaiah Jones, Finn Azaz.
Have you done a U-turn on Ayling?
And Latty Lath.
Have you just pulled up a Teesside Park and done an absolute donut on Luke Ayling? I didn't think you wanted Luke Ayling.
I think you're deaf, Bandy. Sorry. Dally, I think you're deaf, because I think this is about the 3rd podcast you've been on where I've had to explain my position on Luke Ayling. Okay. So I'm going to do it for a 4th time, just for you.
I'll record this one.
Just for you, just in case you forget for next week.
All right. Okay.
Luke Ayling, for me, I would sign him all day long, because I think he offers more in the opposition half than Tommy Smith does and Dijksteel does. And my stance is, I would if Dijksteel and Smith are going, I would take Luke Ayling all day long. He offers assists, he offers quality delivery in the box. But to play a 46-game season, my opinion is defensively he's suspect. I think he can be got at by the better players in the league. And if we're pushing, trying to push for promotion to the Premier League next season, I would like to see Middlesbrough bring in a younger, quality right back / right wing back to compete for that position next season. And that's basically my position, Luke Ayling. So let's hope next week you don't ask the same question, pal.
Oh, well, I'll ask it again, don't worry.
No bother. 1-1, Dally.
Up the 1-1.
So getting back to the original point, regarding the team on Saturday, there was actually 8 potential starters next season that played against Cardiff, And let's be honest, it was an impressive second half display, and we dispatched Cardiff fairly comfortably second half. And if it had not been for an absolutely stupid, silly goal to give away in the last minute, it would have been another clean sheet. But unfortunately, we decided to do the same bad habits that we've done recently against Hull and overdo it at the back, which cost us a clean sheet, which was a shame, because the goalkeeper had actually played well and the defenders had all done well, especially Matt Clark, who you could see when we conceded the late goal was absolutely furious with Dieng and Aylan trying to play out from the back. I mean, I know we'll probably cover the game, but just on that particular goal, Dieng had 3 opportunities to clear the ball and Aylan had 3 opportunities to clear the ball, and they decided that they wanted to play tippy-tappy back to you, back to me football. And Cosworth, which was a richly deserved clean sheet, which was the only blemish really on a fantastic away display.
It can't be a fact because you didn't put your glasses on.
From my point of view, the fact that Clark was so raging when we're 4-0 up, that's exactly what I want to see in my team.
That's my kind
and
of
it's
attitude.
exactly what we need for next season. We say it every week now, he has been fantastic since he came back. Fantastic.
And that's what we've been calling here for. We need leaders, and we need people that are going to raise the standards of others and call people out on the pitch if they're not doing the job correctly. And that was a perfect moment to do so, because it was really poor play between the two of them.
Yeah. Can I start patting myself on the back?
He's captain material, I think.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's in him to be a natural leader. The way he's come back from that lengthy injury,
he's brilliant.
And also a lot of stick on social media. People just didn't give him an opportunity, and he's come back fantastic. He's been so good, and he's my candidate for player of the season, if I'm being honest.
For player of the season?
Yeah. Even though he's not played the full season, I just think the way he's come back,
it's not a bad shout, to be fair.
In a time of adversity, really.
Yeah.
He's come into a team which was shipping goals for fun. We were an embarrassment, to be fair. And he seems to enjoy defending. He's applauding his own tackles at times, and that one at West Brom where he's doing a diving header on the floor. It's just crazy.
He's old school, isn't he?
So yeah.
He's old school. He put his body on the line, and this is.
Yeah.
I know you lads know that Dale Fry's not my favourite centre half at the club, and that's something I used to criticise from him. I was brought up with Mowbray, where he'd put his head in the most dangerous positions.
Yeah.
Clark's a lot like that, and that's what I want to see from our centre halves. And I think you need it in this division.
100%. Of course you do. You need to be ugly.
Yeah.
It's nice having players who bring the ball out and can pass it well, but first and foremost, you've got to be able to bloody defend, and that's been our Achilles heel. Particularly start of the season, we were just all over the shop. And when he's come back in, he's steadied the ship, and I think he's been brilliant. And I think he gets the best out of other players.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really pat myself on the back too early, but I've raved about Matt. I like Matt Clark. I really do. Yeah. I think he's up there with Lenihan of how good he is. When he's fully fit, he's brilliant.
He's massively won me over, and I agree with Graham, which I never thought I would say. He would be up there for my player of the year as well. No, I don't mean that way. I mean in terms of Matt Clark being player of the year. I mean, I just think he's been a real surprise package. He's been player of the year in a number of clubs throughout his career, and I never understood why when he first came into the Middlesbrough team. I didn't really understand and get it, but over time, you see the man every week after week putting his body on the line, his head in the way, his foot in the way, and he's been immense when he's played, and he's dragged others around him up to higher standards. And if I'm talking about player of the year, I think it would be a toss-up between the two centre-backs of Vandenberg and Matt Clark for completely opposite reasons. One, because he's a young lad that probably wasn't expected to play as much football this season, who's come in and excelled and is going to be a top player. And Matt Clark, the other way, wasn't expected to play as much football because others were perceived to be better than him. But he's come in, took his opportunity, put his body on the line, and dragged others around him up the levels. So for me, between them two for player of the year, I think they've both been outstanding.
I've got to think the first game he came, was it his first game he came back after his long injury, was he came on as a sub, didn't he, at Leeds, and the first thing he did was he gave a penalty, and you think, right, here we go. And do you know what, he's grew from then, and he's been, you think only back a few weeks. I think he was our only defender on the pitch at one point. He had Howson next to him. So yeah, absolutely amazing.
To be fair, but that obviously when you gave the penalty away against Leeds, I think he grew straight away, because obviously that was like end of the first half kind of thing. the second half he was immense, because we were brilliant in the second half, and I thought we should have got a point at Elland Road that day. No point you looking at me, you were absolutely paraplegic, you. But yeah, we should have got a point that day, and I thought he was fundamental to what we were doing, and he's been brilliant all season. He's not my player of the year. I mean, I'll talk more about that next week, but he's not far off. He's been brilliant. He's my most improved, most definitely. But that leads us on perfectly to obviously our first goal. It was a very drab, dire, boring first half. If you're a neutral, you've turned off. Right, let's face it, you've turned off. But then, ball goes in, back post, Finazaz, beautiful ball back to the back post, and there's Matt Clark with his Tyson Fury boot. What a hell of a finish. I say, a keeper was flat-footed, didn't really know what to do, and
do you know what you mentioned there, Finazaz? He was class, absolutely class, and the ball he put into the box was, you know,
bang on the money.
Yeah, it was a good team goal, good set piece goal, and like you say, it was just a strange one because of the time that we scored it from where the away fans were. You couldn't really see if it had gone in or not, and then until you saw the Borough players reacting. But it was good to see Clark get on the score sheet.
I know. When they were showing the goal back, I know the commentators were saying, "Oh, we were just checking it was in," and I thought, "What do you mean you're checking it was in? It was in." Like Latte laughed, looked at the ball go over the line, and went, "Yeah, that'll do," and picked the ball up. But then, obviously, speaking to the people that were there Saturday, and I spoke to a few, and they all said, "Well, we didn't really know until we saw Latte laugh, pick the ball up and run off with it." Like, "Oh yeah, it actually is in." But I'll come to you, Dicko, because that is a big shout for Finazaz to see that ball in. 2 assists, 1 goal on Saturday. He really has grown into. Is it? I mean, I know most of them were with Plymouth, but figures-wise, he's actually in double figures for both goals and assists this season.
Yeah, as I say, to get him at £2 million is a great bit of business, and I'll pat myself on the back because I did call it when we signed him. I said he was going to be a big player for us. Once he settles in and he gets better players around him, I said he'd become a top player for Middlesbrough. But he's actually doing it quicker than even I thought. I think playing sort of floating behind Latti's helping. I think they're getting a good understanding. He's sort of picking out Latti's runs now and knows what Latti's game is. And he's just a class act. He always seems to have a little bit of time on the ball, sometimes a little bit too much time on the ball, but he's got that little bit of quality. And like I called him the Championship Zidane for a reason, because he gives you that impression of a player that just has time and he can pick a pass, but also he can produce that little bit of quality, a little bit of magic with a free kick or a shot out of nothing. And he was my man of the match on Saturday against Cardiff for that reason. There was some good performances on Saturday, actually. There was 3 or 4 that could have been man of the match. But for me, Finazaz, just with his quality, as you see, the free kick that he puts in for Matt Clark, the ball was actually Zidane-esque for Latte Alat's goal. Puts it over the top, perfect ball. Latte Alat does well, gets in, smashes it home. And his own goal that he scored as well was harder than it looked. It was great play by Gilbert to bundle past the 2 defenders, but he was sharp when it fell. Was Finazaz and got his right boot to the ball, and not only that, he lifted it over the goalkeeper as well at the far corner. So he's just got those moments of class in his game, and I think next season he's going to be a big player for us.
I think one thing about him, he's only going to get better as well.
22-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. I know he's not a kid, but in football terms, at this level, he is a kid. Playing regular first team football in a competitive league, a tough league to play, very physical. I think he'll grow not only as a player, I think his physique will grow. And I'm looking forward to seeing him next season, hopefully with Latte Alat and some other new players sprinkled around him.
No, he floats beautifully around the pitch. He finds little pockets, and when he's in them little pockets, that's when he comes alive. Whether it's a little dink over the top, a shot, a little pass with the outside of his boot, he's got similarities with Viduka, I think, just in terms of his playing style. Like Dicko said, that goal, it was harder than it looked. It was a cute little dink, beautiful finish. He's not going to chase things down. He's not going to press. He's just going to wait for his moments of magic. I really like him, and I think he's settled in quite quickly. He's been great for us, and I think next season he'll be brilliant.
I'll tell you a thing about him as well. He scored a couple of what look like easy goals, but he's dinked them. He's very composed in front of goal when he gets the chance, and he's took a few of his goals for us really, really well.
What about that one he hits at Preston, edge of the box?
Yeah.
Just picked his corner, smashed it, top corner.
Wasn't lucky that some players just smash a ball, not knowing he knew that was going top corner as well.
When he connects with the ball, he almost caresses it, but he can caress it with power, or he can caress it into a corner neatly. Beautiful player, brilliant player.
Yeah,
he is, and I think the best thing as well, we all said when he first joined, he's just trying to find his best position, and that's why his performances were a bit up and down. He's found somewhere now where, like you just said, that partnership he's built up with Latte Laugh is brilliant, and you actually saw bits of that on Saturday as well, because he got put out to the left hand side, and he didn't look at all completely comfortable playing in partnership with Thomas. As soon as he started to drift himself slightly back into the centre, he looked brilliant again, and he looked like the player that we wanted to sign, and we did sign. That's just been getting better and better and better. So it's
I don't think he's keen on the hard yards tracking back so much. I think Thomas was having a bit of a go at him, wasn't he, in the first half of that and stuff. But let's be honest, them type of players, you've got to roll with the punches and the blows and use them for what they're good at. And like Bandy was saying, you want him in the pockets, you want him in the final third, getting at them little spaces and creating. And if that costs you a little bit on tracking back from time to time, well, you're just going to have to accept that, because those type of players, that's just the way they are.
Well, I think ultimately
that's where your midfielders have got to dig in and chip in and help out, just to free him up.
Well, yeah,
he's been brilliant as a 10. That was probably his natural position now, I would say.
That's ultimately where he's going to play, and he's going to play behind the centre forward in a floating role.
Definitely.
Where the emphasis isn't so much about his hard yards and grafting back. He'll work the front line hard, because he's shown that. But okay, if it means we lose something tracking back, his goals and his assists will be worth their weight in gold if we're going to push for promotion next season, like we all hope we're going to.
Well, that's it. And I suppose playing as a number 10, you're not really expected kind of thing to track back, are you? As a number 10, you sit behind the striker and you wait for the ball, as you're the link guy between the back and the front. So I can see in his way why he's not so keen to go back, because it's just not his forte. It's not exactly what he's about, is he? So but I mean that builds us on quite nicely to the second, because it's weird we talk about Clark, now we talk about Azaz, and who scored number 2, Finn Azaz. And I don't know how it looked to you in the away end. For me, it looked like he kind of fell over, and then that just like flung his foot at it, and it just went over Horvath. It was a good finish. It was a really good finish, because it was a good bit of footwork from Gilbert as well to get the ball in to the space.
Bit of great positioning, like you say. Gilbert's bundled past a couple of the players, and the ball's trickled to Azaz. Like you say, fantastic finish from where we were. It was a cracking finish.
Yeah.
There was some good limbs.
Kicking off. Yeah, so I saw the limbs, and there was a couple of blokes flying about, and that in the end, it looked good fun. And then you move straight on, and they're obviously pushing for a third, and Bandy, that finish from Latte Laugh, we've got a hell of a striker in that boy. 8 goals in his last 7, 15 goals this season in the league. All of a sudden, he's kicked into gear. He's kicked into gear really well, so quick.
He looks like he's been on a training camp with Mbappe. He's just completely transformed himself. 3-4 months ago, he'd have missed that. He'd have either shanked it wide or put it in Rose's head.
Yeah.
He'd have gone way over the bar, but for some reason, he seems to have completely knuckled down, transformed himself. He's looking far more composed. Every chance he gets now, you think, there's a good chance this is going to go in. He scored some beautiful goals, left foot, right foot, smashed finishes, dinked finishes.
It's just been them one-on-ones, hasn't it?
At the moment, he's got the lot. We've got a proper striker on our hands now. Yeah. So I'm talking about wrapping him in cotton wool now and making sure he goes nowhere, because with him, we've got a chance.
Yeah.
There's a potential to actually replace what we lost in Chuba Akpom, in terms of how he plays up front, how he can link up, and the goals he's capable of scoring. So I'm very excited for him next season.
I think if he could have nailed down scoring one-on-ones even 3 or 4 months ago, he could have been 20 plus goals. and it was brilliant to see him get.
Yeah.
It was brilliant to see him put a 1-on-1 away, because it'll be playing on his mind every time he goes through on goal. You think, has he got too much time to think about it? But he's took that from just over the halfway line, and it was a cracking finish. But I just hope it hasn't pricked any eyebrows up with any other suitors.
That's my worry.
I'll tell you one thing that
Sounded
surprised
me Jeff Hurst in the World Cup final. It was a think it's all over moment. He just absolutely lashed it, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one thing that surprised me about him, he's pretty good with his head as well. He's got a couple of good headers this year.
He's got some spring, hasn't he?
Yeah.
In them feet. So he's not the tallest lad. We all know, obviously, watching him, but he's got some spring in them legs.
Yeah,
you see, he can put another foot on his
tackle as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Slide tackle.
He works back.
The Leeds game, he was class.
So he's a mixture.
We're on about Azaz not tracking back, but Latte Alaf does do the hard yards. He was playing left back and right back against Leeds and tracking back. And I just think, when they come from abroad, from a different league, they take time to get up to speed with the Championship. It's a hustle bustle league. Look how long Tuba took to get up to speed with the Championship and work it out. And it was a clever manager, and Michael Carrick, that made Tuba get that extra 10-15%. Well, yeah. I think Michael Carrick needs a bit of credit with Latte Alaf as well, because when he came in, he was a little bit raw. You could see his talent. He was getting into spaces, getting in behind, but his finishing wasn't quite up to scratch. Well, he's quickly put that right, and I think Michael Carrick will probably have a lot to do with that. And as you say, like Graham says, his finish on Saturday, well, he lashed it, didn't he? So
he's got a
spot on goal.
He's got to be worth about 200 million now, because we've said his work rate's like Roy Keane, he scores goals like Jeff Hurst, and he's as fast as Kylian Mbappe. No pressure, lad. Yeah.
Oh God. You're absolutely right. And I still feel like I know he will be buzzing with that.
We'll all get the free sound shirt if he is.
And the best thing is, I've left the best goal till last, because the fact that all the official EFL sites and ITV have clipped it. And firstly, the build-up's brilliant, and then the finish. The guy didn't break stride. If you watch it back, he didn't break. He didn't pause. Where you have that little bit of a stuff, and then you hit it. He didn't. He just strode straight and went bang.
I think I'll put a couple of quid on Gilbert and all, and Frank Lampard-esque him, just drifting at the edge of the box. It was a brilliant finish. What a ball! What a ball from!
I tell you what, you can talk about the finish, but the build-up was fantastic as well.
It's every aspect of that goal,
and that's why we play the ball from the back. I know sometimes we come on here and we criticise about how we're playing. That's how Michael plays, and a goal like that is a joy to watch when it's football.
And the thing is, obviously, all the boats and everything. Unbelievable! And I know everything's been put down for goal of the year when the end of season awards going on Thursday. I'll let you know how it is on Monday. I'm going on Thursday, so that would, for me. And I'm just speaking for myself. Obviously, you might have a different view. I thought that was goal of the season for us. I just thought every aspect of that goal was absolutely brilliant.
Tell you what.
I mean, the list that came out. I've gone for Force against Sunderland. The touch and bang was just ridiculous. But for build up, for how fluid we played, how easy it looked, and how stupid we made Cardiff look at the same time, and the finish. Every aspect of that goal had everything. It was brilliant.
It was fantastic. And one person you've got to give a little bit of credit for is Michael Carrick. Yeah. People have said to him about have a plan B, have a plan C, change the way you're playing. He's stuck to his guns, and this is how ultimately he wants us to play.
Yeah.
Have we got the team that he wants this season? I would say no. Will we have it next season? Let's hope so. But that's exactly what we can look forward to. We've seen it last season when we had the players, and we were loving last season, scoring goals for fun left, right and centre. If we can just sprinkle in a couple of players into that squad, the spine's good already.
Of course it is.
We're not far off.
Give credit to my man Luke Ayling as well. Are you listening, Dally?
Whereabouts does he play?
I thought there was a superb weighted pass as well. If you watch,
he looked delighted, didn't he?
A lot of full backs would have just clouted it across. He didn't. He played a perfectly weighted ball. So Gilbert could just run onto it and caress it into the net. He didn't even smash it, Gilbert. He just had the time and in the space to bend it around the goalkeeper.
I'm sure it was.
We've scored a few brilliant team goals this season, on the back of last season's. My favourite was the one recently against Hull, when Azaz and Isaiah Jones got the ball deep in their own half and done the 1-2s up the pitch, quick breaking from one box to the other. In next season, you can imagine if we do bring 3 or 4 quality players into that. Like I said, there was possibly 8 players playing on Saturday that might get in the starting 11 next season. We can add 3 or 4 more players to those players. We're going to put a lot of teams to the sword playing that way.
I tell you what, Aylin's worth signing alone for that celebration after that goal. Did you see it? It was superb.
He looked delighted, didn't he?
Class.
He looked absolutely delighted, and I thought that was probably the first time I looked at Aylin and I thought, I think he actually wouldn't mind being here next year.
We're a big football club. If he's out of contract at Leeds, this is a big club for him to come to. Yeah. Why wouldn't he want to come here?
I know he's had a couple of sniffs from the likes of Sheffield United, and I know Chris Wilder having a look, but
a Birmingham drunk. Birmingham, like
I know. When did Birmingham jump in? They're League One. They're League
One.
Got a big
bound. 90 minutes, haven't they? On Saturday.
Yeah, you won't go there.
No, he won't go.
It boils down to wages, doesn't it? I think he likes being up.
Yeah,
he likes being up here. He likes being in the area. He's local where he lives. Sheffield United wouldn't be a bad option for him. Obviously, they can offer Premiership wages to him, coming down with the parachute payments. It just boils down to preference. And if Middlesbrough want to stump up possibly big wages on a player that's coming up 32, 33 years of age, so it'll be down to obviously what he gets offered by different clubs, and Luke Ayling himself on, is he making a football decision, is he making a financial decision, or is it a bit of both? But I'll be surprised if Middlesbrough don't offer him something.
With a good pre-season behind him, he might even look a bit sharper. So, because he's not played for a while until he came to us. Yeah. So, bear that in mind. I think he's definitely worth going for at the right price, and I genuinely think he's honest enough to actually take a cut. I don't know how much it will be, but I think he would take a cut to come and play regularly for Borough.
Agreed.
Genuinely believe that.
I think he knows the way we play, doesn't he? He knows the squad. Yeah. He knows the way we play. If we've got Carrick, he knows the freedom he's going to get to go forward. Is he going to get that elsewhere? Possibly, depending on what the setup is. I mean, I don't know. Sheffield United are coming down and they'll have the parachute payments, but are they going to be in a position to put it all back into it, to gamble?
They're in financial disarray at the moment. Sheffield United did a mess. So parachute payments or not, they'll have a lot of debt to clear. So I'm not so certain that he would fancy going there with all that disruption. I just think this club is tailor-made for him right now.
Yeah, there you go. That's from our Yorkshire correspondent, mate. Giving us a lowdown on what's going on.
Best to tap him up.
Speaking of that, do you know anyone called Kev Mansfield, Bandy?
Of course I do.
Stop doing a Yorkshire voice, you Hemlington twacker. So me and you were both from Hemlington, Bandy, but I'll let you take that one.
That's class. Hemo twacker, get in there. God, I giggled when I went join the club, mate. Join the club. But I mean, like, I'll put a bit of down point on it quickly. I'll come to you, Dicko. That goal we conceded right at the end. Such a disappointment to let that clean sheet go. Yes, in the grander scheme of things, when you look at the bigger picture, it doesn't really matter. Didn't do us any harm or anything. But I watched the goal back and I saw the amount of players that were in our box, and I thought, there's no way in your head you go, I'm going to play a short ball here. You see all them players in the box, you think, I've got to play this long. There's no ifs or buts. You don't even contemplate playing a short pass, and he just went for it.
I think even the Cardiff fans were annoyed at Dieng.
Says it all.
well, again, I blame both Dieng and Ayling, because one of them had to take responsibility of clearing the ball. They had 3 opportunities each to clear, and 6 opportunities between them, and none of them did it. I mean, Dieng gives it to him, and he gives him it back. So Ayling has the opportunity to clear, but he gives it back to Dieng. So then you think, Dieng, well, come on then, you clear it. And he gives it back to Ayling, who has a second opportunity to clear. And he decides, no, I'm going to give it back to Dieng. And it was just farcical. And I would have been the same as Matt Clark. I'd have been absolutely livid as a defender to give up my clean sheet that easily. And I just don't get it. As I say, it's a worry for me. It's one of my few worries I've got with Michael Carrick, the way they would play. I understand. Doesn't matter what minute in the game it is, he's got his set way of playing. He's said it many times in press conferences when pushed, and he defends his players. but it's an Achilles heel that we've got to stop doing. It didn't matter at all against Cardiff. It didn't really matter at all against Hull the other week when we done it, really. But moving forward to next season, it's a little bit of a thing I would like to see ironed out a little bit in certain moments of the game. If it's the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes, I'd like to see a little bit better game management by players on the pitch. Luke Aylin's an experienced player. Why he didn't just put the ball down the line when 2 opportunities to do so. Senny Dieng's an experienced goalkeeper. 3 opportunities to clear the ball, didn't do so. So that's still, for me, until I start seeing a little bit better game management, it's a little bit of a worry for me. And I would like to think the likes of your Matt Clarks had plenty to say in the dressing room about it after the game.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there, that's where I take the blame away from Carrick. I mean, I know you're under instructions to play a certain way, I fully get that, but for the reasons I gave a couple of minutes ago, the amount of players that are in the box, surely common sense would kick into any person, not a footballer, a person, and say, that's a dangerous thing to do right there, that could put us in trouble. Do I listen to my manager and just do it, or do I just get rid? And common sense would have told him, get rid of the ball, just get rid.
Do you know what I really don't understand, right? As a goalkeeper, if I'm playing in that game and I know my manager, even in the 93rd or 94th minute, wants me to play out from the back, I want my clean sheet because I've played well in the game, I've made a couple of saves, and I know it's a 94th minute and I'm a minute away from keeping my clean sheet. If I kick it long down the pitch and I get my clean sheet, and after the game the manager has a little bit of a bar with us, I couldn't give a monkeys, because I've got my clean sheet and I've played well in the game, and I've took it upon myself to make that decision to say, I don't care what you think, Gaffer, I'm having my clean sheet and the ball's going down the line. And I don't understand why the modern player is like a robot, where they haven't got any sort of sense for their own game and their own sort of their own pride of thinking, I need to get a clean sheet here. They still want to play the Michael Carrick way because he's told to do so in the 94th, 95th minute. What are the consequences if they don't? I tell you what the consequences will be. Nothing. All that's happened after that is teams look at Middlesbrough and say, doesn't matter what minute of the game is, just keep pressing them, boys, because they'll not stop doing it, and eventually they're going to give you a goal or they're going to give you a mistake, so just keep pressing them. You've got to, in football, in my opinion, at times mix it up a little bit so you don't become a one-trick pony, and I don't understand that. So as I say, moving forward, that's one little thing that I don't understand. Maybe Jonny Howson will put one right later.
I hope he does.
It's certainly a question I'll put to him, because I imagine as captain, even I'd be looking at it and going, what he's doing, what are you doing? Like, there's
let's go back to that Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge. We continue to keep doing it, and we're just getting absolutely pummeled every single time. They were just stealing the ball.
It took until the 6th one to realise not to do it anymore.
Trying to do it. So worth asking him.
I was actually back in the middle of West London when the 6th one happened, so I can't say out. But no, you're right. It's that's why I think a bit of common sense has got to come into the players' thoughts a bit. I mean, I just couldn't understand when I've seen the goal back a couple of times. I've now seen it, and I just saw the amount of players, both Borough and Cardiff, and thought, in what universe do you really think that pass to your right hand side is the right one to play at that point? It's the 91st minute of a game of football, winning 4-0. Just hoof it. They've done nothing all game. Just hoof it. Get rid and don't worry about it. We've got enough pace up front. AJ Matthews was running the line really well when he came on, so and Charlie Lennon was putting some legs in as well. You know what I mean? The kids would have done the job when the ball went out and played the press at the front. So yeah, it absolutely baffled me, that goal. It really, really did. But
slightly off topic, but have you seen the way Grealish plays now for Man City on that left hand side? He just does not take any men on anymore. He just gets it, takes a couple of touches and just plays it simple inside.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that is him playing under instruction from Pep. He doesn't seem to be able to be allowed to do anything else, which is a shame, really, because his freedoms have been restricted now, I think, and he's not half the player he used to be.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think half of that's got to do with the quality that he's got inside him. I mean, if you're looking inside and seeing Kevin De Bruyne going, come on, gives the ball.
Yeah, that's a massive.
You've got a bit of freedom there to go, yeah, fair enough, I'll give him the ball, that's fine. But no, I mean, two completely different worlds. You know, comparing. I mean, I suppose you compare Jonny Howson to Kevin De Bruyne. He's our Kevin De Bruyne, I suppose. But I'll click on to man of the matches, I suppose. So it was a big win. But yeah, good.
I'll go Finn Azaz.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go Zinedine Azaz.
Yeah, pit side reporter. Dicko.
Yep, that's a hat-trick. Zidane just tips Matt Clark for man of the match.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Championship Zidane for me as well, just for his productivity. Brilliant and a good goal.
Yeah, I'm going to say two assists, 1 goal. Haven't seen.
Can't argue with that, can you?
3 out of 4 goals. That is your talking point, isn't it? So, yeah, it's fair enough. But
well, we've all agreed on something.
I know.
That's a first.
I know.
Nick, are you sure you don't want to disagree?
He hasn't put his glasses on. It's fine. There's nothing coming. But no. But yeah. So that's obviously Cardiff game done. Just while we wait for our guests to come on, we'll do a quick preview on the Watford game. See, last game of the season, we've started seeing it coming in. You know, a couple of players where have come in, started to show what they're made of. I say, especially Saturday, Alex Gilbert, AJ Matthews. I think the countdown's on as well now to who gets shirt number 1000 for the Borough, because that's quite close now. But I'll hold that because I'll let this young man in into our streams. He'll get to see all you. He won't get to see me. But yeah, I teased it. Obviously, we all know who was coming on. 601 appearances. Get your goal right. Yeah, 55 goals. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Mr. Jonny Howson. And there you go. You will see his lovely face pop up if you're watching. Evening, Johnny. How are we doing?
Hi there. You alright?
Yeah, we're good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good.
Just working out all this Zoom stuff. I'm not great with stuff like that.
just look at the camera, smile, and you'll be absolutely fine. There's lots of people that have come to see you. So, firstly, many thanks for giving up your spare time to come and chat to us. It's been an absolute...
No, it's no problem at all. Thanks for having me.
No, we should be thanking you for coming on. Absolute legend of a guy coming on to do this. So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
But yes, I mean, you know, we've had so many questions come in. So many people have wanted to ask you all sorts of things. The first one being, I'm going to nick this from you. Sorry, but how do you keep that beard in such good condition?
You weren't expecting that, were you, Johnny?
No, not for the first one. I don't know, just good genes, I guess, or something along those lines.
Speaking of jeans, our first question's from one of your friends, is it Paul Jews? He said, why you started wearing skinny jeans?
Yeah, will do. Well, I say I'm still young enough to wear them where he's not.
Certainly pass that on to him. But massive thanks for coming on, Johnny. Obviously, you know, Borough captain now. You've been captain of the team for a few years. Obviously took the reins from another legend in Gran Ledbetter. You know, if you can, obviously you've been here for, you know, say 7 years now. How would you sum up your time on Teesside? You know, we took you in 2017 from Norwich. We've loved every minute of you. You've given absolutely everything for us. That's all we ask. But how have you found it as a player, receiving, you know, the welcome we did from the fans?
I'll be honest. Obviously, it was tough at the start when I first came. Very personal form and club's form for what was expected was obviously short of what I was expecting. So it was probably off to a tough start. But that's life, that's football. It's never going to be plain sailing or smooth road all the time, and you've got to show your character, you've got to keep going through the tough times, and I think I've done that. I managed to turn it around, and I think then, on a whole, we've had some good times, not so good, some not so good. But I think you mentioned there, from my point of view, done it throughout my career. I'll always give everything I've got, because I can take it if someone thinks they can't pass, tackle, shoot, dribble, whatever it may be. But if anyone ever questioned my attitude or commitment, that is the one that I'd hurt, because that should be a given. That's something that everyone can do. I've learned over the years it's a skill as well to do it consistent, to do it day in, day out. Because, let's be honest, not everyone, whether it's the mental side, can keep going day in, day out. Form will naturally go up and down, but regards to, as I say, your effort and your commitment, that shouldn't ever be affected, and that's how I look at myself. And as I said, going back then to my time on Middlesbrough, I've enjoyed it, and hopefully we can keep it going as well.
Is there anything else you want to add to that, Johnny?
Well, that's what I was expecting. Yeah. I'll be
Johnny,
honest with you. Yeah.
Johnny, come on, we'll jump in straight away, because there's thousands upon thousands of Middlesbrough fans who'll be listening to this podcast either live or this week. And Steve Gibson recently said at a fans meeting that he would love you to stay on next season. So don't be like Bernie Slavin and sit on the fence. What we're going to ask you on the podcast is, how is contract talks going with the club, and will we all see you in a Borough shirt next season, mate?
Until anything gets sorted, it is obviously sitting on the fence. Come
on, Johnny.
It is hard to say anything, because in football anything can happen. So until it's actually all sorted, I don't think it'd be fair for me to comment either way. I'd love to stay. It's great that the club wants me to stay. And hopefully we can get sorted, and I'd like to think it would do. I can't see any real reason why it shouldn't, but
look at the grin on his face. Look at the grin on his face.
Until it actually gets sorted.
So can we say until the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed? Yeah,
usual stuff, Nico. Yeah.
But it's been like that for the past few years, hasn't it? You know, so regards to myself, or let's be honest, even the fans, it's same as it has been past few years, and hopefully we have the same outcome as well.
It's refreshing.
Good.
It's refreshing to hear you talking. Go on, Bandy.
Yeah, I think, Johnny, since you've been here, you've been consistently brilliant. But the last couple of seasons, your form has been impeccable. So I think you've got some serious bargaining power now in terms of getting an extended deal, etc. So
if you can put that forward to them as well, that'll be great.
I'll do my best. Yeah.
Well,
are you going to sign the contract, Benjamin Button?
Benjamin Button. You seem to be getting younger, even though you're getting older, and you're playing. I mean, particularly that playoff season last season, where everything just clicked and we were just motoring through that final third of the season up until playoffs. Brilliant, absolutely class. And there's parallels now with this season. I mean, we're finishing strongly, and we were saying earlier that we just hope we can, kickstart next season in the same vein of form that we're in now. Particularly yourself.
Yeah. Obviously, going on the past couple of seasons, it's probably the starts that has possibly cost us, over the full season. Yeah. And hopefully, as a team, as an individual, we can have more of what we've had recently. Because what is it? 1 defeat in 11 games. Yep. I think at any level is some going, especially in the Championship. Well, let's be honest, a few aspects at times this season we've been short on numbers because of obviously injuries, and that's part and parcel of it, but to still put in some of the performances over tough periods, the Christmas period where a lot of games with small squad due to that, I think it's testament to everyone involved.
Well, I'll take you back to, obviously you mentioned it there, that we've had a lot of troubles this season with regards to, the size of the squad, the injury issues. People underplay it a little bit, but if you write it down, you write it all, in one piece. It's huge. The injury list we've had this year has been huge. How did you find it as a squad to quite kind of deal with that? Obviously, the amount of change that was in the dressing room with regards to available players dropping in and out all the time. Injuries falling. It must have been at least twice a game we were finding injuries. It must have been really tough, especially as captain, to keep the players going alongside the coaching staff to push us through that tough period.
Yeah, I think when you've been involved in the game a few years, like myself, and obviously the coaching staff and a few of the other older players, that's part and parcel of it. Sometimes that can happen, and there's nothing that we could do about that as players. These things happen. I remember flip side a few years back, I think we had a record where we hardly had any injuries, and sometimes that's how it goes. It always seems to come one way or the other all at once. So, as I say, for being an older player, it's something that I'll have experienced a few times throughout my career, at different places, different managers, and sometimes you just get seasons like that. I think I'd mentioned it. I think after the Port Vale game, a few young lads came on, and I think we'd lost a couple that night. And I also said it's also a positive for some players, because if you've got a few injuries in the squad, some of these young lads are going to start getting chances, which we've seen that over different times of the season. And I think then it can create opportunities, and people can come in from out of the blue and not make a name for themselves, but they can maybe establish themselves in the squad, to go and prove that they have got what it takes to play first team football. And as I say, sometimes somebody's downfall or someone's missing out for one reason or another, it also opens the door for someone else. And I think I'd said back then, them young lads have always got to be ready, because they could be called upon at any time. And it's obviously great that you've got a strong academy, and players are good enough, as we've seen, to come in, and as I say, can they then take that opportunity as well.
So first of all, Jonny, I'd like to thank you for every hard yard that you've run while you've been at this football club. Your attitude's been spot on, and as a fan I really appreciate it. It's exactly what I want to see from a player. So you've had a lot of midfield partners this year. Obviously Hayden Hackney is a player that came up through the ranks. How good can Hayden Hackney be?
I think Hayden could go on to be whatever he wants, regards to playing in the Premiership, and I'll be honest, I think he could play with the potential that he's got, and for things to work out for him as well, because sometimes you need maybe that little bit of luck or the right door to open at certain times. But I think he could be top half Premiership as well, or even one of those top 6 sides. And I look at a young lad, different sort of player, but some that I have played with. One that sticks out was Fabian Delph, who was a couple of years younger than me, and we came through the academy. And he went on to play for Man City. And I look at his breakthrough and Hayden's breakthrough, and yeah, different players, different type of players, but both have the right attitude, which I think is a massive thing. I've spoke a few times regards to Hayden, obviously being involved with the first team now, regular for over a good year, and his attitude round the place, he's kept his level headed. It's not changed one bit, and I think that is sometimes what can take you to certain places. We all know the ability that he's got, and because it's there to see. But has he got the mindset? Has he got the determination? Has he got the work ethic? He's got it all. So, as I said, if certain doors open for him, which sometimes, as I say, you need a bit of luck or whatever it may be, but he's certainly got the potential to go on and do that if he wants to.
One more from me. From obviously, I dare say a few of the younger lads that maybe haven't had so much first team experience from us this year that we haven't seen. Is there anyone in particular that's been training with you lot that has caught your eye that we might not have seen yet?
Yeah, there's a few of them, and help for them as well, because sometimes you need maybe that little bit of luck or the right door to open at certain times. But I think it could be top half Premiership as well, or even one of those top 6 sides. And I look at a young lad, different sort of player, but some that I have played with, one that sticks out was Fabian Delph, who was a couple of years younger than me, and we came through the academy. And he went on to play for Man City. And I look at his breakthrough and Hayden's breakthrough, and yeah, different players, different type of players, but both have the right attitude, which I think is a massive thing. I've spoke a few times regards to Hayden, obviously being involved with the first team now, regular for over a good year, and his attitude round the place, he's kept his level headed. It's not changed one bit, and I think that is sometimes what can take you to certain places. We all know the ability that he's got, and because it's there to see. But has he got the mindset? Has he got the determination? Has he got the work ethic? He's got it all. So, as I said, if certain doors open for him, which sometimes, as I say, you need a bit of luck or whatever it may be, but he's certainly got the potential to go on and do that if he wants to.
One more from me. From obviously, I dare say a few of the younger lads that maybe haven't had so much first team experience from us this year that we haven't seen. Is there anyone in particular that's been training with you lot that has caught your eye that we might not have seen yet?
Yeah, there's a few of them, and there's obviously, as you say, when we're training, there's been a fair few that have been involved with us. I think they've all had a little bit of a spell this season. Obviously, we saw last couple of games, 2 new ones in AJ Matthews and Charlie Lennon, who've done ever so well. And Law McCabe's been with us pretty much all season, training wise, travelling. Who's also got another bright future, and I think another one is Sonny Finch, who's probably been a bit unlucky this season with injuries. But as I touched on before, those 4 have been involved with us and done ever so well. And it's nice because you can see more they're involved with us, more comfortable they come, and it obviously benefits them. But like I touched on before, sometimes they can be with us a few weeks, get an opportunity, and they're straight in. I go back to a few that I've had throughout my career. There was one here with Jed Spence. I'll be honest, he probably got in on the back of not really having anyone else for right back at the time. Comes in out of the blue, has an unbelievable debut, and look how he kicked on so quickly, and look where it took him. So, as I say, for these academy lads, yeah, those have been with us training regular, but also the ones that maybe haven't had the training time with us, if you like, they've got to be ready, because they can soon be thrusted in, as I say, certainly when we've had seasons like we have regard to injuries and things like that.
I don't know if you still keep in touch with Jed, but I wonder if he's still smoking cigars.
Yeah, I've seen that with Warnock.
Just ask Uncle Neil how he's getting on, eh?
Yeah. Pick your battles, Jed, pick your battles.
Yeah.
Just one from me, Johnny. When you signed for Middlesbrough in 2017 for £6 million, me, along with a lot of Middlesbrough fans, thought we were getting this goal scoring attacking midfield player. And you had scored 15 goals and had 12 assists in your previous 2 seasons at Norwich. And I remember a few goal of the season contenders from 25 and 35 yards flying past the goalkeepers as well. Can you sort of explain to the Middlesbrough fans that are listening why it didn't really work out that way in a Middlesbrough shirt, and how you've sort of had this Jonny Howson evolution and evolved into the player that's become a right back, a centre midfield player, a defensive midfield player, right midfield player, a captain, and the leader of this football club? Can you just explain how that's evolved over your time at the club with the different managers in charge?
There's probably a few reasons for that, and obviously when I first came in, as I mentioned, my own form where I want to what I'd liked it of being, and obviously that plays a part. I'd love to come and that's what I wanted to be at the start of that attacking threat, and that's what I enjoyed, and as you say, that's what I did come to the club as. Didn't work out like that. Obviously within the space of 6 months we had a different manager, and Tony Pulis comes in, plays a different way of football, and sometimes then your role is changed, or you might be asked to do something different. As I say, I think then under Tony Pulis, because of, again, having certain players out, I had to do a role. I think the first ever time was away at Blackburn. Me and George Saville, funny enough, that I was right wing back, he was left wing back, because we had no one else, and did all right, and he stayed there for a little bit. So yeah, as I say, it's probably a few things. My own form didn't live up to what it should have when I first came in. Change of manager, different way of playing, and then sometimes it's naturally, isn't it? When you get a bit older, you seem to drop back. And then same again when I first started playing, did all right at right wing back. Woody took over, liked what he saw, I presume, played me right back. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed that role because I enjoy a challenge, and I'm never one to run away from a challenge or say I can't do something. I'll give it a go. It might not always work out, but like I've said numerous times, I'll give it the best shot I've possibly got, and sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. So as I say, then it changes, and I'll do whatever's asked for me from the manager, because he's the guy in charge, and he's what he believes is best for the team, and it's a team game. It's not a case of, oh well, I don't play there, I'm not playing, because even when I wanted not it, sometimes I had to play left and right midfield, and I've probably ended up playing more games due to that versatility than if I'd have turned around or had the attitude of, no, I'm not doing it, or let's be honest, I didn't give it a full effort, it has shown as well.
Just going to ask which position you enjoy the best out of them positions.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Oh, well.
I say, Johnny, now that with Michael Carrick as manager, I see him as a similar, when he was playing, as a similar player to yourself, just sat as that central cog in midfield. Are you very content there playing for him now, at your age as well, or do you want license still to bomb forward and try and get some pot shots off?
I think we'd all love to score goals and create goals, wouldn't we? But I think that role's probably gone. But if I go into training tomorrow and he says, are you going to play up front or are you going to play as a number 10? I'll be like, yeah, sound, bring it on.
Like in goal. Have you ever been in goal in any game?
In the Youth Cup for Leeds, we'd had a man sent off, I think. The goalkeeper dislocated his shoulder, would use the sub, so yeah, went to goal. Yeah.
Okay. How did that go?
So I didn't have really anything to do with the last 10 minutes or so. I think we were chasing the game. A few goal kicks, which I realised back then the halfway line's quite a way off. But yeah, as I said, I'll play wherever. Where do I enjoy? It's probably changed over the years. As I say, when I was younger,
that's the.
I enjoyed. As well. Yeah, then I enjoyed scoring goals, and look, let's be honest, we all want to score goals. We want to be a match winner, score some great goals.
You You popped up at Huddersfield with one. That was a nice one.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, and regards to that, I've probably never gone in a football match so low to so high so quickly. Obviously, we're missing the penalty. To literally from the resulting corner, scored
I
it.
know you're a keen angler, Johnny. So what's your best catch? Reeling them Huddersfield fans in that night, or the £14 carp you caught in York?
So my actual record carp, I went fishing to France one time with £33. So, but I think there were a fair few more if we're going on weight. I'll just feel that night, won't I?
Nice celebration, by the way.
Yeah, as I say, I've done a fair few celebrations, I think, because for a couple of minutes, unlike me, I probably lost the plot for a bit.
Johnny, you talk about the highs there of scoring against Huddersfield. Since you've been at the Borough, what's been the highlight of your time so far? And we'll look forward to your promotion push next year with us when we get over the line. But what's been the highlight so far?
It's hard to pick just one moment out. I think there's been a few standouts. I think making your debut is always one that I think is a good one, because I look throughout my career, whether that's been making my first professional debut, first one for Norwich, first Premiership, first one at Middlesbrough. I think it's always an achievement, and what happens there on after. You can say you've played for this club or that club. So I think I always regard that as a high one. We've obviously had some great nights, regards to the Cups, Tottenham at home, Chelsea at home. Let's be honest, getting to a semi-final, first time in my career, and it's more than likely going to be the first and only one. I think the run that we had last season with under Michael Carrick as well, going for that going for the playoffs, and some of the football that we played was outstanding at times, and probably some of the best that I've been involved with throughout my career. So there's, as I say, it's hard to just pick one out. Man U away as well in the cup, that's another one. There's a fair few.
Good penalty there as well. Good penalty.
Yeah, that was a nice one as well. But this is what I want, not just in my footballing career, but in my life. You want moments and memories that you can look back and tell your kids when they get a bit older, and that you can look back and be proud on, and that's what is one of many reasons why I want to keep going.
So when you first joined the club, Johnny, until you're actually at a football club, you don't really... Middlesbrough get a lot of stick about our fan base and all this. We know the size of the town and the area that we live in. So Richard Jackson said, does it ever shock you with the fantastic away support Middlesbrough has? And like I say there, when you first came to the club, did you realise how big the club was?
In regards to the away support, it's not something I like to mention. But in regards to that, I knew what the Middlesbrough fans were like, because when I was at Norwich and we obviously had the playoff final, I remember getting the bus round, and we'd literally stayed in the hotel at the side of Wembley, but we had to drive round to the other side, and we had to go through Middlesbrough fans, and they absolutely pelted the bus with beer cans.
I apologise for that.
Yeah, but
Your revenge,
I'll be
didn't
honest. You could say it was half your fault if you were throwing something. But moments like that, yeah, as you say, from personal note, got me right up for the game, and not to think I'll show them, because let's be honest, they're supporting their side, and I'm not encouraging people to throw stuff at the bus. But let's be honest, It creates it, doesn't it? It creates that atmosphere. It creates that bit of rivalry and passion. So I was fully aware of the passionate fans that they had. Obviously, growing up in Leeds as well, I think you always know clubs that aren't too far away, which have better support than others. So I was always fully aware of the support that Middlesbrough had, and I think with the history that they've had, some of the teams over past 20, 30 years whilst I've been alive, they've always had good sides as well.
To be fair, the people that probably parted the bus, they just rocked up from Trafalgar Square the night before, because we all turned up there the night before. So, but I just want to mention, obviously, Michael Carrick. I remember watching his first video, because obviously Borough put a video out, didn't they, of his first training session, and he was talking about how to, play the ball kind of thing, open up your eyes and see the bigger picture, because you saw his hand movements move, and there was you banging the picture. You looked a bit in awe of what you were looking at. You were like, oh my god, that's Michael Carrick kind of thing. What's he like to work under? In the press he's very cool as a cucumber, and if you ask him if there's something wrong, he's just like, no, I'm alright. Very cool. And you think, is he? But is he exactly like that in the dressing room? Is he just exactly the same?
Exactly the same, yeah. Regards to being in awe, don't think it was a case of being in awe. I think you just respect someone for the career that he's had.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most English players that's won the most competitions. I think he's right up there, isn't he, with anyone for what he's done in the game as a player. So I think when you have someone like that coming to the football club, it's only going to be a good thing, and even more for someone like myself who plays in the same position as him. And it's one thing that gets asked because I'm older. Can you still learn things? Of course you can, because he was obviously an unbelievable player, reached heights that I've obviously never reached, and you just want to learn off these guys. And irrespective of what he's done as well, just what a guy, because as you say there, nothing really phases him. He's very cool, he's in check with his emotions, and he just wants to help everyone. I touched on it a few weeks back. I've just started doing my coaching badges as well as a few other lads, and not just for myself but for some of the others. He's invited us up when we've been doing meetings on oppositions or going through things, and he's let us sit in with him and his staff and to pick up bits of advice, and he's always willing to share that advice with you, have a chat, take time out of his own schedule or spend a few hours with you. And as I say, irrespective of what he's achieved in the game as a person and a human being, he's a terrific guy, and I'm just thankful, being at this stage of my career, that I can be working with someone like that.
So excluding the current manager, Jonny, who's the manager you enjoyed playing most under? And we'll put it this way, which of the managers wouldn't you sign for again? Which was the most enjoyable to play under, and which was the least enjoyable that you didn't really get?
Regards to the least one, touched on it when we were on about the positions. Regard to Pulis, there's no right or wrong way to play the game. We all have our own opinions of what we'd prefer, but I think you can have success doing both, whether you're attacking, defending, pass the ball around, play it long. So as I say, it's all regards to an opinion. And speaking on, going back to the positions a little bit, when I was under Chris Hughton at Norwich, as I said, I liked attacking, and Chris Hughton was very much two banks of four, being hard to beat and hard to break down. And probably struggled to play that way because I wanted to attack, I wanted to close people down. I probably didn't have the mindset I wanted to go and do that then. If it had been now, I'd do it no problem, because obviously experience has learned me that of you've got to do certain things for one reason or another. But as a guy, he was a great guy, so you could arguably say the way Chris Hughton played, but if that was at this stage of my career, it'd be fine, no problems at all. So it's hard to say someone you won't sign for, because I'll be honest, every manager I've played for, I've picked something up. I could go through every manager and think, yeah, I liked that I did. Yeah, maybe didn't like that, but I think with everyone, you probably could do that. And then, regards to the managers that I've enjoyed most, I've always gone back to when I've had success with certain managers. So, promotion with Simon Grayson and promotion with Alex Neil, so I'd have to say them two, because I think when you're in a successful side, everything seems better.
Yeah.
The guy in the changing room that you don't really like, if you're winning games, is not too bad.
Yeah, we don't like talking about Alex Neil. I won't lie to you. We don't like talking about him after Wembley. But
Yeah.
I mean, to follow on the same sort of lines. Then, you know, you've played with countless amounts of great players. You know, you look at your Leeds days, playing with the likes of Robert Snodgrass, who went on to great things in his career, and the players you played with at Borough. When you look back, when you sat in your chair, looking probably about 25, because you just get younger as years go on. When you look back, which a certain few players you look at and think, I'm so glad I got the opportunity to share a picture with that player.
Playing with?
Yeah, with.
The two that I always say is Wes Hoolahan at Norwich and Adama Traore, obviously Middlesbrough. Wes, because he was an unbelievable footballer and could create things out of nothing. So he could be having an absolute nightmare in a game, all of a sudden do one or two things, change the game on its head, and it's come from him. He once told me a story, I think when he was away with Ireland, and I think Martin O'Neill, I think it was, who was in charge, said, Wes, if you were 6'2", you'd be one of the best players in the world. The problem is you're only 5'6", so you're not. But he was that type of player. Or there was another time when he was in the Premiership playing against Liverpool and he was on the bench. We was getting hammered. I think Suarez used to score a hat-trick every time against us. And he also used to meg a lot of people, did Suarez. And he'd said to one of the lads when he was coming on, he says, I'm going to meg Suarez. He came on, megged him, and as Suarez was running away, he acknowledged it as well. So that shows the ability that I did have. And obviously Adama, with obviously all associated with Middlesbrough, we know what he could do. And when I first came to the club and you'd speak to a few lads that I knew, obviously about players, they all said you won't believe how fast and how easy you can go past people. And that was the case, you know. Sometimes the way you used to do it, I've never seen anything like it, whether that's playing with someone or playing against it. There've been a few cases where even opposition, you know, they'd have a quiet word with you and say, wow, he's unbelievable. And yeah, obviously that pace is frightening, but also created an unbelievable player.
Jonny, speaking of fast quality players, you've played over
myself. Oh no, not mate.
You've played with lots of top championship strikers over the years, from Becchio, Jermaine Beckford at Leeds. You had Cameron Jerome. You've had Chuba Akpom, Cameron Archer, people like that throughout your career. So you've got a good idea what it takes to be a top championship striker. How good could the new Adama Traore or Lath be?
I think his recent form since he's come back from his his injury when he'd got injured at Chelsea. Since he's come back, I think he's been unbelievable, hasn't he? The finish over there against Cardiff shows a few things of obviously the pace to actually pull away while dribbling with the ball from the defender, the confident, the way that he's finished it, but also the actual technique and ability to do it, and that sums him up where he is at the minute. And I think we're all very excited if he can carry that form that he's hit this back end of the season into next season. Let's be honest, we've potentially got a striker that could go on and be top goal scorer in the league if he can do that. For, as I say, it's a big ask, but if he can have that same form that he's had in the last third of the season or whatever it is for a full season, well, it's going to be, isn't it?
How many assists do you think you can give him next season then, Johnny?
Well, as I say, after seeing that face, if I just boot it over the top, I've got half a chance, haven't I?
But, Johnny, how comfortable are you dropping in and receiving the ball from Senny in difficult positions? Because you look like one of the most competent at that, and you're sort of receiving it on the half turn, you've popped it off, and then you're making a run forward. Is that quite commonplace on the training ground? Is that drilled into everybody that is the way we must play?
Yeah, I've got to say, I think that's obviously the way that we're going to play it, and we obviously want to play out from the back, and we don't want to go along, and if you are going to play in them positions, you've got to have the confidence to go and do it, but also there's going to be times when you do get caught or you do make a mistake. I think he had one at Cardiff on Saturday where I tried to play it to Dan and have more or less played the guy in, but if you can reduce them amount of numbers and keep doing it and have the confidence what you're doing is the best thing, I think, well, we've all seen if we do perform and do what's asked of us, we are successful more than we aren't. As I say, sometimes you are going to get caught. That's part and parcel of the game. We all make mistakes, but as I say, you've got to be big enough and strong enough to keep going and keep believing what you're doing is right. And as I said, I think we've done that. I've done that. We've seen some of the football that
we have discussions on all the time about it, Johnny, about playing out from the back. Do you think Middlesbrough maybe at times could have better game management? And what I mean by that is, when you're conceding them type of goals in the last minute of a half at Hull and like the 91st minute at Cardiff, do the players have discussions after these mistakes in the dressing room and say, look, in those moments, could we not make better decisions by maybe playing it into the channel or playing it long? Has it got to be that we've got to play this football every second of every game, or is there no room to sort of mix it up a little bit in games? Because I just feel if we keep making the same mistakes over and over again, it's going to cost us the next season as well.
Of course, obviously you need that game management. As you say there, at certain times, maybe going in at half time or towards the back end of the game, do you just go along and be a bit solid? Obviously it depends maybe on the scoreline at the time, but as I said, it's only natural then when mistakes are made, people then question, you go longer, or you should do this, that or the other. But sometimes you've got to accept that this is the way that we play. Sometimes we are going to make mistakes, sometimes we are going to be, let's be honest, under a bit more pressure from a certain team, maybe the way that they press or the way that they're set up. But saying that as well, yeah, of course, game management as well is part and parcel of it, but that's also things that you've got to learn and got to adapt. As I say, go back to being brave. You might have been asked to do something, but it works both ways. Just because maybe a manager asks you to do it, or flip side, if there's a few groans from the crowd, are you strong enough to keep doing what you believe is right?
We've talked about Michael being really calm. We've met him in group sessions ourselves, and he comes across as like that. Have you ever seen him absolutely lose his head?
There's been a couple absolutely lose his head, maybe not to that extreme, but there's been 2 or 3 times maybe, that there's been, I think they've been at half time 2 or 3 times where he has had a go at us, and obviously rightly so. There's times when he will do that because it's a passionate game, and at times it does get to you, and you do get frustrated and you want to take it out on someone. So there will be times, and I'm sure in the future as well, that he does it, but that's also his character as well, isn't it? He's calm in his nature, in his manner, and it's very rare that we are going to see him like that. But at the same time, when he's not too pleased with us as well.
Good.
Johnny, if you do go into management, which I hope you do in time, would you be a tracksuit manager or a suit manager?
I think it's a bit in between now, isn't it? Of it's like the chinos and a quarter zip or something like that, isn't it? A pair of smart trainers.
Skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans, yeah.
Skinny jeans, yeah. Juicy will sort you some out.
Yeah, skinny jeans, yeah. I think it's going to be that then now, isn't it? Skinny jeans as a manager.
No, you're right. I mean, we've took up enough.
See you as a suit manager, to be fair.
Yeah, I do, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd go more that way than tracksuit and a pair of corpers on. Yeah, farewell cups.
Well, we've took way enough of your time, Johnny. One last question from us. Throughout our season, what we do is we've been putting on charity bets all season. We're up to nearly £500 now. On no, I'm not going to ask you for some money. Don't worry.
You're going to ask me for some tips at weekend.
Well, funny enough, the question has come to us, and I'm going to put the question to you. What would your score prediction be if you were sat watching on Saturday? I hope you're playing Saturday. But if you had to put a score prediction, yeah, me too. So score prediction wise, what would you put down for Saturday? Don't worry, the FA won't put you down as this gambling. Don't worry.
Yeah,
it's going to be
when he comes in and loads of Middlesbrough fans have
Johnny.
loads of money.
It's going to be Jonny Howson. Jonny Howson, first goal scorer, Middlesbrough 2-0.
Yeah. What could have been doing all right, haven't they? Since Tom Clever took over as well. It's got to be a home win, hasn't it? And I'll go clean sheet, solid 2-0 Middlesbrough.
Any-time goal scorer, Johnny? Just one player?
Jonny Howson in the 34th minute.
Very precise. Right, Johnny, I'll let you go now. Thank you so much. Are you going?
Thank you for having me.
Are you going on Thursday?
Going on. Yeah.
I'll try and catch you for a picture on Thursday.
I'm not great with days and stuff like that. So when you said that, I'm thinking, when am I going Thursday? Yeah.
I'll try and catch you for a picture on Thursday. Then, but
sign that contract.
Yeah, and sign that contract.
And just remember your bet as well, there, Johnny. If there is a penalty on Saturday, you grab that ball.
Kick the ball.
Yeah.
I want to see that cheesy grin with Neil Bowser next week.
Yeah.
But
thanks very much.
But
John.
massively appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll leave you be. Thank you very much.
That.
Take care, Johnny.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers, Johnny.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. There you go. That was Jonny Howson. Absolute legend of a guy. That was
top quality.
Unbelievable. Obviously, before we wrap it up, I'll hand over to yourself to.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go for Gilbert 3-1.
Yeah.
So Bandy,
Laugh 2-0.
Laugh 2-0. Well,
Dally,
Clark 1-1.
Dicko,
I'll go 3-0 at the laugh.
and it leaves you last but not least.
I'm gonna go something extravagant. Last day of the season, isn't it? I'll go thin as anytime, but it'll win 5-2.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When we beat Man City 8-1, was that last game?
Yeah.
Last game,
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I
Crazy
purposely.
like that might happen.
Exactly.
That ends up with like 5 goals or something.
I purposely missed
I'll
out
go
on
with
me
10-2 win.
purposely missed out on me revision for me exams, but
I'll tell you what, when I was born in Middlesbrough, it was Yorkshire, but Johnny went white as a sheet there when he thought we were going to ask him for some money for the charity bet.
I know, but no, I'll wrap it up there. I can't really top that, to be quite honest. But gentlemen, Bandy, Dicko, thank you very much for popping on.
Pleasure. Enjoyed it.
Always good to speak to you. I'll speak to you on Saturday. Kurt, Dally, thanks for popping in. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. It was quality.
Massive thanks to Jonny Howson and to the football club as well for letting him come on and give us his very precious time. Yeah, and thank you for all your questions and watching. Say what a fantastic guy, unbelievable guy, and you just look at that grin on his face when we ask the question. We all know what's coming, but we can't say it. So hopefully that news comes in a very.
That's why it was really insightful.
He said he wants to be here. He wants to be here, so
he knows both sides of the fence want this deal. It's just about putting the fence up. So
he knows he can put the ball over the top of laugh, doesn't he?
Well, he didn't hesitate when he said that, did he? He said, "I'm just hump the ball over the top, and you'll get it next season." So he knows. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you very much for listening, liking, and subscribing. We'll be back next week where we will talk Watford, and we'll look at our personal highlights of the season. Thank you very much. Up the Borough, be seeing you. Toodaloo.
Up the Borough.
Up the Borough.
Thank you for listening to the 12th Man podcast. Hope to see you all again next week. Up the Borough.